Hello everyone. In this class, we'll look about some more basics of gears. In this one, we'll determine length of path of contact, arc of contact, and contact ratio. Now, we already discussed something about path of contact. It's nothing but the path in which from the beginning of the engagement of the teeth to the end of the engagement of the teeth there will be a locus of point which will be tracing. So from, if you take here in this teeth, this is the starting point. From here it start engaging with the another gear and here it ends. So if you measure that linearly the locus of points of contacts, that length is path of contact. Now here we can explain with some simple schematic sketch. Consider this as gear, profiles of the gear. This is outer radius of the gear, this one is pitch radius of the gear, and this one is inner radius or dedendum radius of the gear. Outer radius is called as addendum circle radius, inner radius is called as dedendum circle radius, and it's mates with another pinion. Now similarly here this is addendum radius for the pinion, this is pitch radius for the pinion, and this one is dedendum radius for the pinion. Now in this profile we need to measure path of contact. Now if I join a line from this end to this end, this is called the line of action, along with the gear tooth will engage from beginning to the end. Now this is the point of contact where the two pitch curves meet, that is the point of contact. Now we need to determine this length from this point to this point. If you consider from gear's point of view, if it touches from here to here, that will be from the beginning of the contact to the pitch point, this length is that, that will be called as path of approach. Similarly from here to here it will be in contact, that length will be called as path of recess. From gear's point of view, this length is path of approach and this length is path of recess. From pinion's point of view, this length is path of approach and this length is path of recess. Now we'll assign some letters and we'll make some triangles to make some trigonometrical applications. The point of contact is P, C, D. So now we need to determine the length of CD, and PD is path of approach, PC is path of recess, and the total length is called path of contact. So F, E are the line joining, the point joining the dedendum radius, and which will be acting tangential to the, this line will be tangential to the dedendum radius, both the side, and it will pass through this pitch point. Now we can make the center of the gear. So these two are the center of the gear at point A and point B. Now this will be the pressure angle of the gear. Now the angle subtended between these two lines are pressure angle of the gear. Here this is also a pressure angle of the gear. Now if I join a line from the point A to D, that will be the outermost radius of the gear. So that is addendum radius for the gear. We'll specify that as RA. Similarly, if I join a line from point B to C, that is addendum radius for the pinion. We will use capital letters for gear and small letters for pinion, and this will be the pitch radius. Pitch radius is capital R for gear and pitch radius is small r for pinion. So from the pitch curve, pitch point P to the center of the gear, that is pitch radius for the gear. Similarly from the pitch point P to center of the pinion, that is pitch radius for the pinion, small r. Now we'll derive some equation to determine the value of CD. Now we'll apply some trigonometry. Before that we can write that CD as CP plus PD, and furthermore we can classify PD as this length FD minus FB. Similarly we can classify PC as CE minus this length PE. Now we'll come to this triangle, big triangle AFD. In this triangle, if we apply Pythagoras theorem, we'll be getting the value of FD as root of AD square minus AF square, and we know that AD is equal to RA, nothing but pitch addendum circle radius for the gear. So similarly, if we approach triangle AFB, which is having a inclination angle at pressure angle of pi between the length AF and AP. So if we apply cos function, we'll be getting AF equal to AP cos pi. We know that AP is the distance of pitch radius, so we can replace AF as R cos pi. If we substitute these two in this equation, we'll be getting FD equal to root of RA square minus R square cos square pi. So now we need to determine the value of FP here. So to determine the value of FP in the same triangle AFB, if we apply sine function, we will be getting FP equal to R sin pi. We know since AP is R, we will be getting FP equal to R sin pi. So simply by substituting in this equation of PD, we will be getting path of approach. It's nothing but root of RA square minus R square cos square pi minus R sin pi. This is for path of approach. That means the length which starts contact from the beginning of the contact to the pitch point, that is path of approach. So now we have to determine path of races, that is the distance CP. So or CP or PC. So we have to adapt the same and similar process in this triangle to get path of races. Similarly, if you consider the triangle BEC and applying Pythagoras theorem, we will be getting the length CE will be equal to root of BC square minus BE square. Now similarly, take the triangle BEP. If we apply cos function in this triangle BEP, we'll be getting BE equal to small r cos pi, since we know that BP is nothing but small r. Similarly, if we substitute in this equation of CE, we'll be getting, since already we know BC equal to small RA, and we determined BE equal to small r cos pi. So substituting in this equation of CE, we'll be getting root of RA square minus R square cos square pi. Similarly, to determine the remaining value, that is PE for this PC, we have to apply sine function on the same triangle BEP. If we apply sine function, we'll be getting PE equal to R sin pi. So using this equation PC and substitute PC equal to CE minus PE, what we have determined, we'll be getting the length of PC, that is nothing but path of races, that will be again equal to root of RA square minus R square cos square pi minus R sin pi. So these both look similar. Here we have to use capital letter, here we have to use small letter. So path of approach is from beginning of the contact to the end of the contact. Path of approach is from beginning of the contact to the pitch point, and path of races is from pitch point to the end of the contact. In total, we'll be getting path of contact. We have to add these two values. So that will be equal to root of RA square minus R square cos square pi minus R sin pi whole thing plus root of RA square minus R square cos square pi minus R sin pi. So using this value, we can determine the contact ratio. Furthermore, from path of contact, we will determine the value of arc of contact. Path of contact is measured linearly. If we measure that as an arc, that is arc of contact. So to determine this arc of contact, we have to use this equation, arc of contact equal to path of contact by cos pi. And another thing we have to determine is angle of action delta. It is nothing but the angle turned by the gear or pinion on which it is in path of contact. So for pinion or gear, in this equation we have to replace the pitch radius for either gear or for pinion, and the equation is delta equal to arc of contact into 360 by 2 pi into pitch radius. If we want to determine angle of action for gear, we have to use pitch radius for gear here. Similarly, if we want to determine angle of action for pinion, we have to substitute pitch radius for pinion here. And contact ratio CR equal to arc of contact by circular pitch, where circular pitch can be determined by pi into module, where m is the module of the gear. The contact ratio is of importance because it is nothing but how many number of pairs of teeth of the gear are in contact at a particular time. So based on that, we'll design the gear and suitably apply according to the required application. So if you want to determine the pitch radius for gear and pinion, if we know module and number of teeth, we have to use a simple equation to determine it. Let us take Tg as number of teeth in gear and R as pitch radius of the gear. We know that module equal to pitch radius by pitch diameter by number of teeth. Since diameter equal to 2 times the radius, we can replace m equal to 2r by Tg or r equal to m into Tg by 2. So if we use capital R, that is for gear, and we use number of teeth on gear here. Similarly, for small r, we can use number of teeth of pinion here. So generally r will be equal to mt by 2. By using this equation, we can determine the pitch radius for gear as well as pitch radius for pinion. Now we know that we are widely using involute gears. Why we are using involute gears even though it is having some drawback? Because involute gears are easy to manufacture when compared to cycloidal gears, and this is one of the important process in manufacturing involute gears, hobbing process. Hobbing process easily generates the involute gears in mass production, so it is very well suitable for using. So when compared to cycloidal gears, manufacturing of the gears accurately in hobbing, we can adapt the involute gears. So therefore we are using involute gears widely. But what is the drawback in involute gears? So the main drawback of involute gears is interference in involute gears. It's nothing but we cannot make any number of teeth with any number of teeth in involute gears. So if the number of teeth varies, it needs certain minimum number of teeth only to be provided in a gear to avoid interference. What is the interference? If there are two teeth like this, and sometimes this teeth will hit the bottommost part of the, or the tip of the one gear will hit the bottom of the another gear. It is based on profile of the teeth. So based on number of teeth on the gear, the profile varies. So to avoid the interference, either we have to cut like this, or we have to provide the prescribed minimum number of teeth only. So that is called involute. So either if we want to provide the same number of teeth, required teeth for our transmission purpose, we have to do undercutting on the involute gears, or we have to provide the prescribed number of teeth only for the particular gear. So how to determine the prescribed number of teeth for avoid interference in involute gears, that we are going to see now. So now we can take this same picture and we are adding one more thing here. We are adding a line here. So from the point A to E. So what is this? This is nothing but this whole length minus the pitch radius will be giving the maximum addendum. Right now this is pitch radius and this is the addendum radius. Right now in this picture this is the addendum, but actually up to this length addendum can be gone, because if there is no clearance in between these two, this addendum part of the gear can hit the dedendum part of the pinion. If the addendum part of the gear hits the dedendum part of the pinion, then surely there will be interference in the gear. So to avoid that, first we can determine the what is maximum addendum. From that, how many number of teeth we can adapt, so that we can arrive using some simple expression. So now in this one, you consider the whole triangle AFE. So now here we know that maximum addendum is nothing but the whole length AE minus pitch radius. So at maximum addendum is AE minus R. Now you consider the whole triangle AFE. In this triangle, if we apply Pythagoras theorem, we know that AE square will be equal to AF square plus FE square. Furthermore, we can divide FE into FP plus PE. So therefore FE can be split as FP plus PE. Furthermore, if we substitute that FE value here, we get AE square equal to AF square plus FP plus PE whole square. So from this geometry, we already derived in this previous derivation these values. So AF is nothing but capital R cos pi, FP is capital R sin pi, PE is small r sin pi. And substituting and simplifying it, we will be getting this expression like this. So we have to simplify it by taking the common part out, and we can get the value of AE as root of R square into 1 plus R by R whole thing into R by R plus 2 into sin square pi. So this is the length AE. To determine the maximum addendum, we have to subtract AE from pitch radius R. So this is AE minus R. Furthermore, if we substitute and simplify it and taking R commonly out, A will be equal to R into root of 1 plus R by R into R by R plus 2 into sin square pi minus 1. Now we know that pitch radius for gear is m into tg by 2 and for pinion is m into tp by 2, and gear ratio is nothing but number of teeth on gear to the number of teeth of pinion, tg by tp. So now if we substitute that capital R and small r value over here, we will be getting further simplify this value into like this. So here R by R represents, by simplifying, if we substitute mtg by 2 and mtp by 2, we will be getting only tp and tg value. Since gear ratio is tg by tp this can be replaced as 1 by g, and finally we will be getting this value as addendum. So this is the maximum addendum, that is a equal to mtg by 2 into root of 1 plus 1 by g into 1 by g plus 2 sine square pi, up to this only square root is there, and minus 1. So here we'll be getting a bracket over here. So now this is the maximum addendum. Now we can write addendum as addendum coefficient. So since sometimes addendum can be taken as x times of the module, so here that x will be usually called as addendum coefficient. Now if we take addendum as aw times of the module, we can replace addendum as aw into module, where aw is the addendum coefficient. So how many times of module we are taking addendum, that is aw. Now to avoid the interference, this addendum should be greater than or equal to this value, then only we can avoid the interference. So to avoid the addendum circle to touch over the addendum circle of the pinion, it should be greater than this value. So from this, if we arrive the value of tg and moving everything over here, we will be getting here module will be getting cancelled. So therefore 2 into aw whole thing divided by this equation. So if we get this value and this is tg, that is minimum we should keep this number of teeth in a gear to avoid the interference. So tg must be greater than or equal to 2aw by root of 1 plus 1 by g whole thing into 1 by g plus 2 into sine square pi minus 1. Only if you adapt this equation and get number of teeth on the gear, we have to keep that much minimum number of the teeth in the gear to avoid the interference. If the number of teeth of gear is less than this prescribed gear, then surely there must be interference in between gear and the pinion. So we have to provide this to avoid the interference. And this is about some more basics of the gear. In subsequent classes, we will see gear trains and problems on the gears. Thank you. If you like this video, you can subscribe, like and comment.